Our ultimate goal, Srila Saraswati Thakur says, our ultimate goal is to become the dust at the feet of Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. To be the dust as the servants of the servants of the servants of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. What an incredible statement. It completely contradicts material psychology. People want a higher and higher and higher and higher position materially. To be the dust on someone's feet as your ultimate aspiration? Try to explain that to your parents. I tried. Because when I first became a devotee of this society, I saw everyone sign their letters, your servant. So my first letter to my mother and father, I just wrote how I'm doing nicely, and I tried to tell them about how something nice about spiritual life. I signed it, your servant. I wasn't initiated yet. Your servant, Richard. They wrote back to me, said it was a nice letter, but why are you demeaning yourself in such a harsh way by saying you're our servant? You're an intelligent young man, you have so many opportunities, why do you just want to be a servant? They were really worried about me. So I replied to that letter and signed it, the servant of your servant. And they didn't write back. I understood that they didn't want me to take it to the next stage. But after some years, they would tell me that I want to be the servant of your servant. So I was very happy. To be the dust at the feet of the servants of Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami. The ultimate aspiration. That means to understand there is no higher position than to be a servant of the Vaishnavas. Why? Because nothing pleases Krishna more than that. Kulashekar Alwar, he prayed that I'm never going to be happy with this solid gold, bejeweled with precious gems crown on my head. The only thing I'll ever be happy with is when the feet of those who love the Lord are on my head. That is real wealth. That is real power. The dust of the feet of Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswamis means to be the humble, sincere servant of their servants. To take their instructions, to take their example and inspiration in our hearts with all appreciation and gratitude. With an eagerness to serve. if we could just understand this. The ultimate aspiration in our life, and keep that focused to please the Lord by being a sincere and humble servant of the servant of the servant. And please remember, these are his final instructions to all of us. Next he says, you should all work conjointly under the spiritual master with the view to serve at the absolute knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To all work conjointly. This was one of our own Guru Maharaj, our Srila Prabhupada's last instructions also in 1977. He said, you can show your love for me by how you cooperate together in fulfilling this mission. We all have our own selfish desires, aspirations, opinions. It's natural. Unity in diversity is practically applied and realized when our unity is based on a principle that is higher than all of our differences in regard to Vaishnava relationships. We see in practically every religious movement or spiritual path, after the founder or the acharya or the avatar leaves, there's so many different opinions. Oftentimes so many different selfish agendas, which usually nobody ever admits is a selfish agenda. The tendency, we always think, I am supporting the truth and you are not. You are wrong, I am right. And they're usually on technicalities. Show your love by how you cooperate. That means to forgive each other. And to give up our selfishness. It's not about me. It's about Krishna. It's about serving others. That's what it's about. It's not about what I want or what makes me feel good. It's about how to please other people, other Vaishnavas. To serve the Vaishnavas and show compassion to the conditioned souls. That's the way we could chant the holy names properly. He continues on and says, these are his final instructions. You should somehow, these words are very, very powerful. You should somehow live without quarrel. Should I repeat that? You should somehow live without quarrel. And how do we do that? By putting Krishna in the center. Ahankar, the false ego, I'm in the center. What I like, what I want, what I know, what I believe. He's ordering all of his disciples, and all of his grand disciples, and great-grand disciples, and great-great-grand disciples. Don't quarrel. And the way to do that is each and every one of us has to take the responsibility to put Krishna in the center. What will please Krishna? You see, the process of somehow living without quarrel is the process that will make us absolute pure devotees, Paramhamsas, fit to go to the spiritual world. The propensity to quarrel, all the excuses and reasons to quarrel, are facilities to help us to really seek the essence beyond all these quarrels. They're opportunities. You have to really keep Krishna in the center. If you don't, there's going to be chaos. It's an emergency. It's an urgency. It's a need. If you don't feel sick, you probably won't take medicine. So if you're sick, it's good that you feel sick. Yes? One of the worst things is if you have a disease and you don't know it, then by the time you start to try to deal with it, it's too late. So are we really putting Krishna in the center of our lives? Anybody could say, yes, I'm putting Krishna in the center of my life. But then, the propensity to quarrel, the propensity to fight over trifling egoistic differences in the name of philosophy, Siddhanta, and all this other stuff. Is it really? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur fought like anything to establish the Siddhanta where there was actual deviation. But he wanted his followers, don't quarrel and fight among yourselves about so many things. In 1935, Srila Prabhupada went to Radha-Kund to visit his Guru Maharaj. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that I have established this temple at the Bagh Bazaar Gaudiya Math, and we've started temples all around India. And now I see some of our leaders are fighting over who gets a position, over who gets power, over who gets particular rooms, over who gets, facilities of people to work under them. There's quarrel. He said there is fire in the mat. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he's describing the demons of Vrindavan, after Krishna danced on Kaliya and got him to become a great devotee, the Nagapatnis, his wives, they prayed for him, and because of their prayers, Krishna forgave Kali and gave him pure love of God. They all took rest on the bank of the Yamuna that night. Oh, it was just so nice. We all get to sleep with Krishna on the bank of Yamuna tonight. And in the middle of the night, blazing fire, going all the way to the stars, it appeared, surrounding them on all four sides. In such a situation, they were helpless, even though they considered Krishna just an ordinary little boy who was their friend, their lover, their son. In such a situation, they didn't think him God, but they took shelter of him. Krishna, save us. Krishna just inhaled for a moment, and everyone saw the entire fire go right into his mouth. Haribo. Now Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that that fire represents communal conflict and arguments within the society of the devotees. It's like a fire. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, there is fire in the mat. When people were arguing over fighting over material assets and control and power, it doesn't matter our position. It doesn't matter our facilities. It really doesn't matter our opinion about other people, about ourselves. What really matters, are we pleasing Krishna? Are we pleasing our spiritual master? If we're quarreling, if we're not cooperating, we are not pleasing our spiritual master or Krishna. Sankirtan means the unity of our hearts when we come together to chant the holy name. Srila Saraswati Thakur tells us, do not give up your service in spite of all danger, all criticism, or all discomforts, because they will come. It's not that we think that because I'm serving Krishna, everything's going to go my way. Everyone's going to love me. And everyone's going to praise me. And everything's going to be comfortable because I'm serving Krishna. Well, if that's what you think, then read Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna. Read Srimad Bhagavatam, the Pandavas. Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Gajendra. Ranti Dev. Krishna leaving Vrindavan. And the Gopas and the Gopis. For great souls, obstacles, Advaitacharya told us to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya confirmed it. Obstacles on the path of devotion are the friends of a devotee, because they help us to really keep Krishna in the center and take shelter and understand what really matters. So great souls are put through difficult situations to show us how to be great. And for us, obstacles, they are opportunities that if we just respond properly, they make us great devotees. We should never give up. Srila Prabhupada personified that. His Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his first instruction and his last instruction was to take the message of Lord Chaitanya to the English-speaking world. The opportunity really didn't come until he was 70 years old on the Jaladuta. And he got 2 heart attacks and seasickness. And 38 days later, landed in New York. And after Butler, Pennsylvania, he was living in the Bowery. He had no money. He had nobody helping him. Even the people in India thought it was impossible, so they didn't want to waste their money or time or energy helping him. He had a stroke. He had people coming to kill him. But he didn't give up. This instruction of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he took it so seriously. In spite of danger, criticism, or discomforts, not to give up. And even in this world, a person is great when they never give up. whether they're athletes or politicians or businessmen or philanthropists. People who are great that people remember on any level of society are people who, despite all difficulties, obstacles, and impossible situations, they didn't give up. And if people could do that for political power, for money, for helping people in a philanthropic way, how much a devotee should be willing to do that? To show their love for Krishna. And to be an instrument of Krishna's compassion for people we love in this world, who should be everyone. Srila Saraswati Thakur tells, do not be disappointed, because things are not going to always go your way. He would send his devotees out to give lectures. There are instances where they came and they said only 2 or 3 people came to our lecture. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, oh, that's wonderful. 2 or 3 people. He said, you are speaking the message of Chaitanya Dev for Krishna's satisfaction. And you're making it available to the world. If no one comes, you should be fully enthusiastic and grateful and empowered to preach to the 4 walls. And again, Srila Prabhupada took this instruction so seriously. If you read his diary, he's coming from Vrindavan. He's a Paramhamsa. He's an Acharya. He's come to fulfill the prophecy of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. He's come to fulfill the prophecy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's come to fulfill the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to spread all over the world. And he writes in his diary, I went to an apartment in Manhattan and 4 people came. And they seemed to like the chanting. I can understand that Haridas Thakur's and Lord Nityananda's prediction will take place, that everyone will be chanting the holy names. He was not disappointed. 4 people came, and they just liked the chanting. And the first major program that the devotees had for him when they were just in 26 Second Avenue, they rented an auditorium, first time ever, beyond the first program beyond a tiny little storefront on the Lower East Side. It was a big place. And hardly the first row was filled with people. Everything else was empty. The devotees were totally disappointed, and Prabhupada got up on the stage and was preaching as if there were thousands of people with so much enthusiasm. The devotees, they begged forgiveness. We're sorry that nobody came. He said, nobody came? You didn't see? Narada Muni was there. Lord Brahma was there. Now what that means could be one of 2 things, or both. Could mean that Narada Muni and Brahma were physically there, we just didn't see them, that Prabhupada did. But it definitely also means that Krishna and all the great acharyas of our parampara are accepting whatever we sincerely offer. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if no one comes, speak this message to the 4 walls, and Narada Muni, Brahma, Krishna, your guru, everyone will be there hearing. That's what it's about. Prabhupada was never disappointed. The thing that discouraged him the most was when there was fighting, quarreling among his followers. But even then, he was never disappointed. If thousands of people came, he said this Krishna consciousness movement is for everyone, just chanting, dancing, and feasting. If no one came, he said that in Tiffany's jewelry store, because they're selling such precious jewels, not so many people come. But in the general stores to get glass jewelry, so many people are coming. So whatever the situation, he was enthusiastic, never disappointed. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells us, always hear and chant the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever may come in our life, never let go of that. Our hearing and chanting, like a man or a woman who has fallen from a cliff, and there's one vine that you're holding on to. How many of you came to Ahovalam, to the Ugrastamba? Please raise your hand. That was a wonderful yatra. When we were crossing that bridge at the last stage of the Ugrastamba, it wasn't a bridge, it was a rock, and there were high winds, and the rock was kind of slanted, and it was only a few feet wide, and it was smooth and slippery, and you look down on both sides. You see way, way, way down below, you see the back of eagles flying over the ground. So high up. And I believe that anyone who, I remember, I'm going to tell a personal story now. I've told it before. But the brahmacharis, and I was going to go with the brahmacharis, were supposed to go to the Ugrastamba the first day, climbing high mountains and then going across that bridge to get to that place. And I didn't know what it was like, but I hurt my back. So the first day I couldn't go, so the brahmachari said, we'll go the last day. So these old people, in those days I wasn't so old, but these pretty old people, and they would come back from the Ugrastamba and say, by your mercy we made it to the top. And I was thinking, it's not my mercy, it's Krishna's mercy. I told them that, but still they were thinking like that. And hundreds of people were saying. And then I got there myself. And I was about to cross that rock, and I looked down, and I thought, there is no way I'm going to cross this rock. I mean, I see it. I can offer my obeisances. It's a windy day, and the rock's this wide, and it's like this, and I was about to turn around, and then I thought, how am I going to explain it to all these people who think it's by my mercy that they did it? I know it's not my mercy, it's Krishna's mercy. I have to do it. If it was the first day, I would have told everybody, don't go up there, it's too dangerous. But now it's the last day and everybody but me did it. I crawled across that rock and I crawled back and I did it. How did I get on that story? chanting. Yes. So, with this story in mind, picture in your mind, it's one of these mystical meditations that you have, a wind blew you off that rock from the Ugra Stamba, and you're falling, and you're going way, way down, and none of those eagles are going to catch you. And in a few seconds, you're just going to be human chutney. And there's a vine, and you grab onto it, and you're holding it, and you're looking down. And you're waiting for somebody to come and see you there and pull the vine and take you up, yes? You know someone will come eventually. But in the meanwhile, you're really holding on. It's a priority. This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur means. Don't give up the chanting of the holy names. Whatever failures, whatever disappointments, whatever success, whatever occupational duties, whatever pressures in the world, it's what keeps us connected to Krishna, which is the most important thing in our life. Never give up this hearing and chanting. And then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ends this phase of his last instruction with these words of how to always chant the holy names. He said you should have the patience and the forbearance of a tree. And the humbleness of a piece of straw. Trinadapi sunichena, turor ibasi hishnuna, amani namanadena kirtaniya sadahari. To be humble like a blade of grass, patient, tolerant, forgiving, forbearing, even great obstacles, like a tree. To honor, appreciate, and respect other people, and not demand it for ourselves. In this spirit, we can always chant Krishna's holy name. And Srila Saraswati Thakur concludes, we have no desire other than this whatsoever. Fully conscious, he was chanting the holy names. He called for his very intimate, loving disciples to be chanting with him the prayers of glorification of Rupa Goswami and the Vaishnavas and the Maha Mantra. And in that pure, compassionate, purely liberated state of love of God, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur passed from this world. In Sri Jagannath Puri Dham. No, I'm sorry, in Sri Calcutta. The Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. When our beloved Srila Prabhupada heard this, He was devastated by feelings of separation from his beloved Guru Maharaj. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote on Haridas Thakur's Samadhi, he reasons ill who say that Vaishnavas die. For Vaishnavas, for thou art living still in sound. Vaishnavas die to live, and live to spread the holy name around. In that ocean of love and separation, Srila Prabhupada accepted the words of his Guru Maharaj as his life and soul. And after the disappearance of his Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada tells us that on several occasions, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur appeared to him in a dream, telling him, take sannyas and fulfill your mission to share this message with the world. Srila Prabhupada was a grihasta. He said, Prabhupada was so humble. He was just so honest, which is one of the attributes of a truly great soul. He said, when my Guru Maharaj said this, I thought, how horrible to leave everything. With what? How? But he did it. To please and to serve his Guru Maharaj, he went to Jhansi and started the League of Devotees. Worked an entire year. And everything he did was crushed and taken away by higher powers, political powers. Was he disappointed? Never. He went to Vrindavan. Translated the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And after about 5 years in Radha Damodar temple, he went to Mumbai and begged Sumati Morarji for that ticket on the Jaladuta. She argued against him, she refused him. But his life, his greatest wealth, his everything was in pleasing his Gurudev. What an example. And he started with nothing. When he finally did get 26 Second Avenue, people donated 1 month's rent and they couldn't afford to give him any more. Everything was so uncertain. And he went and incorporated it as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Because he had such faith. And after a few years, he was traveling around the world. Tens and thousands of followers, temples, tens of millions of books. And Srila Prabhupada always told us that it was all the mercy of his Guru Maharaj. He would tell us there is never a moment that I am not feeling the presence of my Guru Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And in this particular lecture that Srila Prabhupada was giving in 1973 in Los Angeles, on this day, the disappearance of our Param Guru, Srila Prabhupada told many of the stories that I shared with you and concluded in such profound emotion. He said, I am a very old man. I do not know how many years I will live. But all of you are young, full of energy. Srila Prabhupada said, I am actually not doing, you are doing. And then he cried. Anyone who listens to this tape, your heart will melt. He was so choked up with gratitude to all of his followers and with an appeal. Please carry on with the mission of my Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada who has given his life, his soul, his everything for each and every one of us, is crying, pleading with us to help him to carry it on. Through accepting the gift, the matchless gift of bhakti, and cooperating together with enthusiasm, with all our energy and resources to share this with others. It was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's first instruction to him in 1922. It's the greatest need in the world. It's the greatest act of compassion in the world to spread this love of God and the eternality of the soul. Give this knowledge and experience. He took it as his life and soul then and gave his life and soul to execute it. And with a faltering voice is begging us, according to our capacity, to chant the no holy names, hear the glories of the Lord and work together to give happiness in this world of such suffering. To give love of God in this world of so much selfishness, greed, and darkness. Where there is Godhead, there is light. And God has appeared so munificently in His holy names.